You're watching the World Pool Masters on Billiard Club Television, where the greatest players compete for professional pool's most coveted titles. Billiard Club TV is brought to you by Chalk Off, the complete pool table cleaner and the official table cleaner of professional pool. Order yours today at chalkoff.com. And the Billiard Club Pro Shop, where you'll find the greatest deals on pool cues, balls, racks, and a whole lot more. For all your pool and billiard supplies, visit billiardclub.net. Billiard Club TV is your source for championship pool. And now, the World Pool Masters.
Welcome to the seaside resort of Egmond aan Zee on the Netherlands North Sea coast. It's one of the liveliest and most attractive resorts along the Dutch coast with beautiful sandy beaches. But this weekend the crowds are here for the partycasino.com World Pool Masters. Raj Hundal of England defending his title. 16 of the world's leading 9-ball pool players from right around the world, 9 nations, from as far apart as China and the USA, Japan and Hungary. Each match a race to 8 racks with alternate breaks. Coming up in a moment, match 7, Thomas Engert of Germany against Tony Drago of Malta. The prospects come from our commentators, Ted Lerner and Jim White.
As always, yet another mouth-watering prospect here from the Netherlands. Round 1 action brings together 2 former champions, the Tornado Tony Drago up against Thomas Engert. Well, one of them will stay on course, Ted Lerner, for another title. Another one's going to be booking a flight home.
Are we starting to sound like a broken record? Because this is another great matchup here. But that's the way it is at the Masters. You have Drago as the 2003 champion and Engert is the 2004 champion. And Engert, #1 in Europe right now, and Tony Drago, who doesn't enjoy watching him play, the fastest player in the world?
These two know each other's games very, very well. They've played on the European Tour. But I'll tell you what I've noticed, and I know you're the same, Ted. The top players have had a lot of trouble with the speed of this table. They've lost the cue ball a lot more than we're accustomed to seeing them.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at Efren Reyes in the last game that we saw. I mean, he had ball in hand, and the position after that ball in hand was almost amateur. It was that off, you know. So, what do you attribute that to, Jim? Is it?
I've got a feeling in talking to a few of the players that the practice table, the speed of the practice table, might be just a little different than the speed of this match table. But you know something? It's down to the top players to adapt. That's what this game's all about. All I can tell you is, don't go for a cup of tea, folks. With Tony Drago playing, you'll miss a few racks.
6 matches now played in round 1. In the top half of the draw, Hundal will face Vejen in the quarterfinals, while Foldes takes on Alex Pagulayan. A really international lineup, an Englishman, a Dutchman, a Hungarian and a Filipino. 2 matches now played in the bottom half of the draw. Majid will play Ralph Suke in the quarters. 2 more matches to play. Let's hear what Thomas Engert and Tony Drago think about their upcoming match, starting with the man from Malta.
Well, Tony, a past champion, and you're playing another past champion in the first round, Thomas Engert. And you know Thomas's game quite well.
Yeah, he won it 2 years ago when I was the defending champion. We played in the first round, and we played a hell of a game. We both played at our top of our game, and he beat me 8-7, and then he went on to win it. He's a great player. He's got the attitude of never gives. You know, you have to scrap him off that table, and obviously, if that's what it takes for me to do tonight, that's what I'll be trying to do.
Well, we were having a quick chat earlier, and we were talking about the caliber of the players in the Masters, and it's the old story, Tony. You don't try and find your game here. You better bring it.
Well, you have to, because the players you play here, while you're trying to find your game, there'll be potting balls, and you're
on the plane home,
packing the stuff on your way home. No, you know, to be honest, to be fair, with all due respect, sometimes you play tournaments where you find a couple of players that you say, well, I should beat this guy. It's race to 10. I'm not going to practice much, and I use this match as I'm going to win it, and I'm going to use it as practice. But in here, you're going to play, you know, whoever you play is going to be a great player. And, you know, hopefully you'll be the best of the great players on Sunday evening, which I already was. I know the feeling how to win it, and I missed it for the last 2 years. And I'm here. I got a feeling. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a middle for me in this tournament. I just got a feeling I either don't do well at all, or I either could be standing there on Sunday night. It's just a funny feeling that it's going to be a bang. I'll either get beat today, or I'll win today and I'll you know, maybe go and win it tomorrow. It's, you know, that's how I feel.
Always one of my favorites, Tony, because you give me time for lunch. All the best today against Thomas, man.
Thanks. Thank you.
Back in 2004, Thomas Engert won the Masters at this very same venue, so the German must feel confident. To find out, Jim White also caught up with him before his match with Tony Drago.
Now, your first round match in this year's event, Tony Drago. You know Tony pretty well, so obviously, you know, you're not going to be intimidated by the speed at which he knocks balls in.
No, I know him for 3-4 years, and he's playing also the Euro Tour always. And I played against him 2 weeks ago in Rankwein in Austria, and he ran out the first 3 or 4 matches in 3 minutes. It was so, but I won the match, so I take care of my match, and I don't want to be afraid what he's doing on the table, because he's very fast. I know that he's putting the balls easy, but yeah, you have to stay confident and take your time and play your shots.
Really the formula for success, isn't it, Thomas? I mean, you can't control what the other guy does. You just worry about what you can do.
Of course, that's the only thing you can. You have to wait for your chance, and then you have to take it. That's the only option you have.
Well, without a doubt, one of my most favorite left-handed players. Thomas, all the best this year, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Hold on to your seats once again. It's non-stop roller coaster ride action coming to you from the Netherlands. The Whirlpool Masters, sponsored this year by PartyCasino.com. And Ted, you said it in our prelude to this match. It just keeps coming at you. 2 former champions, Tony Drago and Thomas Engert, and what a lag by Drago.
Okay, now sit tight. Do not get up and get a beer from the fridge. Not yet.
Tony Drago to break. Thank you. Nice and quiet now, please.
You should have had it by now. Drago opens with the first break. It's a race to 8. And the wing ball down on the break. So Tony surveying the situation very quickly. The break cue back behind his chair.
Now, some people, Jim, may actually think that Tony Drago is not really paying attention to the angles and the spin, and that he just gets up and hits it. He just said that couldn't be further from the truth. He just says he is able to read.
Well, he made a great shot. The one off the 4. The only problem for Tony is the cue ball went straight into the bottom corner. But a great attacking shot. And you know something? That's why Tony Drago is so terrific playing 9-ball, because this is the way he plays snooker, Ted.
What I was going to say to finish that thought, that he says his mind works very quickly. He's able to calculate the angles of spin very quickly. And that's what he just likes to play quick.
Now, Thomas might elect to develop the 3 here. That's exactly what he's done. And he's landed very nicely on it. And what's more, a nice angle to get down table for the 4. If anything, maybe even a bit too much angle, but either way, he's got a shot at it. I was talking to Thomas just a little earlier and spent a bit of time on the beach. Very sunny, very warm here, and his forehead shows it. Oh, he's missed the 3. Well, early nerves coming into play from Engert. He'll want to settle that down. When Thomas won this event a couple years ago against Ortman in the final, his countryman Oliver Ortman, as we again see that missed 3, barely threatened the side pocket. He was solid, rock solid. Great 3 from Tony Drago there. And when Tony won this, I think he caught a few people by surprise. No one expected him to play as well as he did, coming from the snooker world. No more surprises now with Drago.
He said he spent the last 3 months practicing nothing but 9-ball. He doesn't like to mix the 2 sports. He doesn't like to go from just one to the other week after week. He spends his one part of the year on snooker and the rest on 9-ball.
Tony will keep it simple if the rest ever comes out, because he does have a glaring weakness in his game on any table with pockets, and it's the rest. Beautifully played. And it will be Drago who sets things alight here. Had the break in the opener, the 9's down, and the Tornado blows first. Takes the opening rack in the race to 8 here, first round action.
Are you looking for the ultimate one-stop shop for pool and billiard supplies? Then you need to visit billiardclub.net today for everything and anything you need for your home entertainment center. Log on today to billiardclub.net or call toll-free 866-774-8770. billiardclub.net.
A packed house, as it's been since the opening match. Tony Drago versus Thomas Engert for a place in the quarterfinals. And who does the winner play?
Rack 2, Thomas
The
Engert's
winner
break.
between the reigning
21
world
rack to
champion,
0.
Tsatsing Wu, and Ronnie O'Sullivan. It only gets better. But Thomas Engert to break in rack number 2. He lost the opener, so he'll be quick to make amends.
Foul shot.
And that is a
Ball in
miscue.
hand.
No doubt about it. Straight into the side pocket for Engert. This has been a nightmare start for him. Drago so quickly at the table.
Well, yeah, you don't want to get this, let this Drago bullet train get chugging on down the track like this.
Have you seen much of Tony, the World Championships or anywhere, Ted?
Oh yeah, I've watched Tony play. Of course, you know I enjoy him like everyone else. He's you have to catch your breath sometimes when he plays. It can be, I'm sure, it can be quite intimidating for other players to play against a guy this fast.
Without a doubt. Now here's the big shot. He's got to get around the back of that 7, 3 cushions, and back down for the 6. Missed the 7, and he needs a bit of angle on this 6. He doesn't want to be straight.
I can tell you, Jim, that Tony is popular all over the world with his style of play. And his personality. He's a great, friendly guy.
Oh, what a great shot there from Drago. Judged it to perfection. What did I say about players having trouble with the speed? I forgot to tell Tony. He practices in London with Imran Majid and Raj Hundal, and Ronnie O'Sullivan makes an appearance every now and then. How's that for a quartet of talent in one room? The 9 again deposited by the same man, Drago. 2-0 ahead of Thomas Engert in this best of 15. It's rack number 3, and very quickly, Tony Drago out of his chair.
Tony Drago gets a break.
Wears his heart on his shirt sleeve. Very emotional. He said he was going to come out and let fly. It was either going to go for him or against him, but he was going to let the bullets go. And I'll tell you, early indications, Drago is focused.
It's amazing how he is able to make all the calculations of spin, speed, where to pocket it in such a short amount of time, unlike most other players.
The dreaded rest again. It's his weakness, always has been. Position was a formality. All he had to do was slot that 1 in. Not the best positional shot you're going to see from Thomas Engert. Cue ball right over to the side cushion. Good recovery, though, and even nudged that 4 so that it looks like it passes the 8 into the bottom corner. So doubly good for Engert.
Engert's been playing quite solid pool prior to the Masters. He was the runner-up in the 14-1 straight pool championship in New York, and he won the Predator Open tournament in Florida. And he's currently ranked the #1 player in Europe.
Well, Thomas has just had a major hiccup. I thought he'd play that 4 in the bottom corner, and obviously it didn't have the room to go past the 8 that I first thought. And he has overdrawn the cue ball to leave himself snookered behind the 8. Well, we talked about the players having trouble with the speed of this table. There's our first indication. It took 3 racks to appear. It's amazing the mistakes I've seen from some of the world's best. And the bad news here, if Thomas goes across the face of the table and does park the 4 into the pocket, he won't get the 6. That's why he's got to try this masse. He's got to just soft masse this around the 8. Or is he going back for his jump cue, Ted?
He's got the jump cue in his hand.
He's only got to go over the edge of the 8, but he's very close to it. And the reason he's doing this is because it's the only shot that offers possible position to the 6. Good thing he's left-handed.
Wow. Perfect.
He put up his hand almost to apologize because of the kick. Tony, no apology from Drago. That was a brilliant shot, and Tony was the first to acknowledge it. Tremendous shot from Engert, right over the edge of the 8 and landed on the 4.
Boy, that's a true craftsman at work right there.
That's the sort of shot you see in exhibitions, not in the World Pool Masters. And that recovery quickly gets Engert back. He secures the rack and opens his account at the World Pool Masters. It's still 2-1 to Drago, but it's Engert to break in rack number 4 with a chance to level it up.
Rack 4.
Thomas strides to the table.
Trailing 1 rack to 2.
Terrific shot making displayed in the last rack. Gets him on song. 2-1 to Drago, but the handles are in Engert's hands.
Well, he's got 1 ball down, and he can see just a piece of that 1 ball. Don't believe that he can see all of it.
One more look at it. One of the best left-handers in the world.
You see the 1 getting away from him there. He'd rather prefer to keep it in the middle of the table. Well, we could see that.
Yeah, I had enough room there to deposit the 8 with the 1. And now every chance.
Boy, this table is wide open right now.
I said Thomas, one of the best left-handers in the world. Our next match will show you the best left-hander in the world, and he's only 17 years old.
Wu Cha-ching. He's still in high school.
Great shot from Thomas. Nicely positioned here. And every chance to secure this rack and keep the pressure on Drago. Would have liked a little angle here, Ted, but Should still be able to get the cue ball out. Leave himself a nice look at the 6. Just draw back a couple feet.
Well, that's exactly where he doesn't like to be. He gets antsy. But Engert doing a good job of keeping him in that chair. It is alternate break, however.
The drag shot killed the speed of the cue ball to hold for the 7 top left. Well, Tony had his chance to really put a dagger into Engert's hopes. And that one that he missed with the rest has allowed Engert to come right back at him. Tricky 9 from the side cushion. First 4 racks have been split. Thomas Engert does his job. 2-2 between him and his good pal Tony Drago. Thomas, very well decorated, 40 years of age, from Germany, Challenge of Champions champion, obviously won this tournament back in 2004. He's the 2005 Swiss Open champion, 2004 European 9-ball champion. I mean, there's so much that this man's resume, it speaks volumes.
Well, he's been one of the top players in Europe since the early 90s.
Rack 5.
Yes, that
Tony Drago
quartet of stars.
2-2.
Oliver Ortmann, Thomas Engert, yeah, and Ralph Souquet, Torsten Homan, those 4. What a team that 4 would make. Challenge any team in the world.
Well, Tony got a break here on the 1 ball. It was very nearly married to the cue ball, but he's going to step up and pocket it right away, right on top of the 3.
Big chance for Drago to make amends and stay in front. To date in this year's Pool Masters, the lag has proved critical, hasn't it, Ted? It's won every match.
Every match has been won by the player who has won the lag. And in several occasions it's proved to be pivotal because it has come down to a hill sudden death rack.
A little bit of pool knowledge from Drago there. A snooker player would have played that into the right-hand side pocket. The 8, of course. And Tony, understanding pool much better now, plays into the top corner to make his work much easier. Just like that, Drago once again establishes that 1-rack lead, 3-2 over Thomas Engert. Tony Drago, also 40 years of age. They call him the Tornado. The jewel in his pool playing crown this event. Former champion here. He's also had a great world championship. Had a terrific run a few years back. Bronze medalist. Semi-finals back in Cardiff. That was the one time I remember saying to Tony, I like your chances of winning the World Pool Championship better than winning the World Snooker Championship, and he agreed.
He's also one of the most popular players in the game because very popular amongst fellow players as well.
Plays a lot on the European Tour now, too. As we see Thomas Engert winding it up. Rack number 5 already. Rack number 6 to come. Number 5's in the books. Oh, you'd like to have seen that 1 stay on the table. But Thomas, as you'd expect, coming from Germany, very little emotion. It's all business out there. Can he get through to the edge of this too, enough to be able to clip it in? Looks very close, Ted.
Yeah, you can see just the edge of it.
The problem is that the 3 being there, this is such a fine cut. But he can't possibly hold for position to the 3. He'd have to come up
Push
and
out
back
cold.
down the table, negotiate all the traffic, and that's the reason that Thomas has opted for the push out. And this leaves him a little bit more. Now, Tony with a choice. Attack or put Engert back in. Because this is not a safety option. This is either go or go back to your chair.
And he tells Thomas, okay, you created the problem, you solve it.
You see the 4, the pink 4 on the right-hand side of the table. Don't be fooled into thinking that's safe because it offers a 4-7 combination or plant to the bottom right corner. Thomas will be trying to clip this 2 in. He's got to get back for the 3.
Oh, yeah. He played it with just enough speed.
That was the choice that Drago made, and he's looking to the heavens now, Tony. It was either Tony's to take on or Thomas's to take on. What a gambling shot Thomas just played there. I think I can make it, but can you?
Bit unusual, too, for Tony to turn down a ball that has a line on the pocket.
Well, you know something, Ted, it had 2 parts to the equation, and the position was the second part. And Thomas hasn't landed ideally on this 3. Got a lot of work to do. No, and he's overrun. He's going to be snookered behind the 7. And that's why Drago had a little think about not taking that 2 on, because it was too dicey, even if you do knock it in. So, Tony, you look like a professor right now. And that 9, where that 9 is situated, looks like it takes the natural 1-cushion escape away from Thomas. The left side cushion. Now if he plays it, he's going to have to go below the 9 and play a little spin. Never as easy to judge. Oh, that's hard luck. That's hard luck.
Ball in hand.
Contacted it exactly where he wanted to. And the cue ball slithered by the 9 and into the corner pocket.
Well, just like that, Tony Drago's up 3-2, and he's at the table. Only 3 balls remaining now, with a chance to move ahead by 2.
You know, we've yet to see Ronnie O'Sullivan play. He'll be our next match up, and I, for one, can't wait. But from all the snooker players, and, you know, apologies to Steve Davis and his legion of fans, Drago, for me, is the best converted snooker player to pool that I've seen. 9 down, and just like that, 4-2 again, Drago with the 2-rack comfort. And what's more is he's got the break in rack 7.
Visit chalkoff.com or call your local retailer and ask for it by name. That's Chalk Off, the complete pool table cleaner.
Tony Drago at the table. Relief certainly evident. A lot of fans here when Tony
Rack
won
7,
this event
Tony
a couple of years ago.
Leading 4 racks to
It
2.
was played here.
Well, they've got some Maltese fans in the crowd, Jim. The flag is waving.
Got a shot at the 1. And the other option would be to raise the back end of the cue and snooker Thomas. He'd like this to get away from the bottom cushion. The lot of pool players would have attacked from there. Knocked that one in the side pocket. Tony's opted for discretion. And Thomas is looking at the left-hand side of the table as we look. It's a much easier hit off the right cushion.
It's amazing. It seems like we just started this match, and this is a must rack for Thomas Engert. He's down 4-2. It's only a race to 8, and it's alternate break.
Foul shot.
Ball in hand to Drago. All remaining 6 colors wide open. And
Boy.
Thomas lets you know exactly how he feels about that effort. And that also makes Tony's decision of playing the snooker the right one. It's one of those cases where the end justifies the means. Didn't intend cannoning the 6. He tried to go around it, but he's landed on it nicely.
A lot of these players in the Masters were in a tournament a few days before the start of the tournament in Amsterdam, just down the road. And Tony Drago won that event. And he just pockets the 9, and he gets closer to his stated goal of reaching the quarterfinals here in the World Pool Masters. 5-2, Drago in front of Thomas Engert.
Let's get it on.
Rack 8. Thomas Engert to break. Trailing 2 racks to 5.
Already at rack 8 in this match. 5-2 in favor of Tony Drago. 2 former champions. And Engert with the hammer here. He avoided the scratch in that side pocket. That's really what caused all this grief for him. Afforded Drago a chance to get 2-0 in front. Even though Engert pegged him back, Drago still had the initiative.
Well, you just do the math, and it's pretty simple arithmetic. Thomas Engert with 3 errors so far in this match. Tony Drago, none. And Tony Drago with a 3-rack lead. You just got to limit the errors.
Now, Thomas wouldn't want this too close to the corner pocket. These top players know their ways around the angle so well. And if Tony can get through to that side, he may even have half a chance at pocketing this one, believe it or not. A fine clip on the left-hand side as we look, but Tony Drago has just gone for his jump cue. Totally illegal in the world of snooker. Totally legal in 9-ball. I was waiting for that one. He was going to hand it to our referee, Nigel Reese, and let him play the shot. I was dying to see Tony's effort at that. The Asians are terrific, aren't they? The Taiwanese, they probably jump better than anybody.
Oh, yeah. Well, they go to school to learn how to jump and play pool.
Foul shot.
Foul.
One hand.
Well, he couldn't have done any worse with the jump cue. Ball in hand for Engert.
That was a good chance for Engert to get back on track.
Well, he does have one problem area, though. The 3 and the 5, the top right. If they don't offer a set combination or plant into that top right corner, Thomas is going to have to drop on the 2 very nicely to either disturb that 3 or land on it. And that makes the angle on this 2 imperative, and he's got it. And now he's having a look to see if that plant is on offer. He certainly can take the cue ball into the 3 with this angle. And he certainly can drop onto it if the 3 goes top left corner as we look. It's all about choices.
Referee Nigel Reese having a good look at this one.
At 5-2, Thomas knows he's got to hold serve here with it being his break. A little bit more pressure applied in this alternating break format, I feel. It forces you, especially when your opponent goes out and knocks a ball in and runs out the rack, it forces you to respond in kind. Gee, looking at Thomas's cue there, his ferrule looks a lot more like you'd see on a snooker cue than a pool cue. Most pool cues have very long ferrules. That's the white bit just below the tip. He's got a very small ferrule. Easy 8 and 9 to come. Thomas secures that rack to only be 2 adrift now, Tony Drago. 5-3, but it'll be Drago to break off in rack number 9.
Log on today to billiardclub.net or call toll-free 866-774-8770. billiardclub.net.
Rack 9, Tony Drago to break, leading 5 racks to 3.
Drago and rack 9 mentioned almost simultaneously by referee Nigel Reese.
3 balls down, yeah, just pretty much almost as soon as the triangle comes up. Tony likes
That's
to
why
break.
he gets out of the way quick. But 5-3 to Drago. And a great shot on the 2, and even better position to the 3. Quality shot from the Tornado there.
Fastest rack he ever made. They say it was here in the Whirlpool Masters. 11 seconds.
That's about how long it took him to run a century in snooker as well. Ted, you weren't smiling there. Do you know what a century in snooker is?
You're testing me now, Jim.
It's a 100-point run.
That would make sense. A century?
Drago's probably got the fastest century, but I can tell you I commentated Ronnie O'Sullivan making one in between 3 and 4 minutes. Unheard of, really. But Tony Drago, once again, 3 clear of Thomas Engert. 6-3, and 9 of them are in the books.
Rack 10, Thomas Engert to break, trailing 3 racks to 6.
And the familiar swing of the cue from Thomas Engert, swiping the cue ball back to the right-hand side of the table as he looks. Gets set to break in rack 10. He needs some positive things to happen, Engert. And that is not one of them.
He's got the 1 down, but the 2 is being hidden, blocked by the 9 ball, which didn't move.
And Thomas won't know it until he comes down to the table. He went back to get his playing cue and puts the break cue behind his chair, and now he knows the problem that he is confronted with. But the break shots here have been successfully executed. I can't remember the last time a ball didn't go off the break.
I don't think we've had one dry break in this entire tournament so far.
And I think given that fact, it's a much better choice by the promoters to have the alternating break format. This would be ridiculous if they didn't have the alternating break format with this table breaking this easy. There'd be players that may not get out of their chair.
When in that push out, Drago gets right down.
Two ball safety, Ted. Playing the 2 ball at the top end of the table and tried to get that cue ball behind the 8, but on top of it isn't bad. These are painful moments for Thomas Engert right now. 6-3 he trails, and he did not want to have to fight a rack out when it was his break. If he's going to battle it out and volley for the all-important rack win, he'd like to do it on Drago's break.
And now he's going to bring him back to the table. You can see he looks up into the rafters here, up into the ceiling, because he left a gift for Tony Drago, who's right down on that cue ball.
Yeah, it's not that easy. He's got to miss that side pocket. No, he couldn't miss the knuckle. He got the 2, but that middle pocket was always going to come into play. Tony tried to pull the cue ball away from it. Try and flick that 4 over to the right-hand side, and he's going to use the 5 for cover. He's the first to know, and it doesn't look like he's left enough to the 4 sticking out for Engert to be able to attack, but it's close. And that camera really gives us nothing conclusive either. Almost looks like he might be able to see enough of it. Tony put a lot of distance between these two.
Well, this is crunch time for Engert. Down 6-3 in a race to 8 alternate break.
How's that camera shot? Right underneath Engert's cue. Tremendous stuff.
When Tony doesn't even wait for Thomas to take his seat.
The attacking ability of Tony Drago really coming to the fore.
And that has got to be intimidating for some players.
Whether you admit it or not, Ted. And Thomas Engert didn't admit it. But psychologically, Drago slots his frame wins, his rack wins up so quickly, it has to be difficult to cope with. 7-3. Tony finds himself on the hill in the race to 8, and it's his break.
Rack 11, Tony Drago to break, leading 7 racks to 3.
Tony Drago breaks in rack number 11, wanting just one more rack win.
Settle down then, please.
To send Thomas Engert back to Germany, empty-handed. And no reason why he shouldn't do it right here. This has been some kind of performance from Tony.
Well, he is absolutely shredding the lean machine.
He doesn't like it. A little more angle than he would have liked. Check the cue ball, needs it above the 9. And I think he's got there. Drago just played in a tournament in Amsterdam prior and ended up winning it. So he's had lots of practice leading up to this year's World Masters. And the 9 for an emphatic victory here. Tony Drago, still a chance to become a 2-time champion. The clenched fist. He and his pal Thomas Engert never really locked horns for long. You never do with the Tornado. Drago is 8-3 winner and through to the quarterfinals.
So confirmation of the situation after 7 of the 8 first-round matches have been played. In the top half of the draw, Hundal will face Feyen in the quarterfinals, while Foldish takes on Alex Pagulayan, a really international lineup, Englishman, Dutchman, Hungarian and a Filipino. In the bottom half of the draw, it'll be Majid who will play Ralph Suke in the quarterfinals. Tony Drago awaits the winner of the match between Wu, the teenage pool sensation from Chinese Taipei, and Ronnie O'Sullivan. Quite a test for the snooker star.
Well, it's good to see you again, mate. And I didn't think I'd be seeing you at a 9-ball tournament, but it's great to have you here, Ronnie. You looking forward to this?
Yeah, I am, yes. I've played in one 9-ball tournament before, so, you know, and I got to like it, and this is obviously a big event, so it's good to be here. And
you've hooked a 17-year-old world champion. You must be looking forward to that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I watched him play when he won the World Championships, and he was exciting to watch, and, you know, it's all experience really for me, but it should be good fun. Looking forward to it. And
he kind of plays pool the way you play snooker.
Yeah, quite attacking, goes for his shots, and, you know, he's a natural. So.
Mind you, at 17 years of age, Ronnie, I remember you at that age. I mean, the snooker tables looked like pool tables.
He was fearless at that age, you know, and that's the best way to play. You know, just play free, go for your shots, enjoy it, and that's the beauty of being young. But the beauty of being a little bit older is a bit more experience, and you play your head a little bit more. So.
The Moscone Cup you did play in prior to this one. I mean, it's a similar sort of atmosphere out there. I don't know if you've been watching any of it, but the crowd really get into this.
Yeah.
A lot different than snooker.
No, I really enjoy it. You know, I've played in like I said, in the pool event before, and the crowd really get involved, and you can kind of show your emotions a little bit more. Whereas snooker, you have to be a little bit more laid back and keep yourself emotionless, if you like. And but this is a little bit different, and it suits me as well.
I think so. I totally agree with you. And you've been putting a little practice in with a couple of your buddies at the club, Raj and Imran, Tony.
Not as much as I probably would have liked to have done, but you know. If I start to enjoy this game and I start to get the buzz for it, then practice will come a lot easier. So hopefully the more events I play in, the more I start to enjoy it, the more I want to start practicing a bit more.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think the pool world is really going to enjoy having another rocket in it. Trust me, big guy. It's going to be great for Ronnie. All the best, buddy.
Jim. Take it easy.
It's Ronnie next in the partycasino.com World Pool Masters.
You're watching the World Pool Masters on Billiard Club Television, where the greatest players compete for professional pool's most coveted titles. Billiard Club TV is brought to you by Chalk Off, the complete pool table cleaner, and the official table cleaner of professional pool. Order yours today at chalkoff.com. And the Billiard Club Pro Shop, where you'll find the greatest deals on pool cues, balls, racks, and a whole lot more. For all your pool and billiard supplies, visit billiardclub.net. Billiard Club TV is your source for championship pool. This has been a presentation of Billiard Club Television. For more, log on to billiardclub.net.